Good morning and welcome back to Tarot Tats and Tea on what is remarkably a sunny morning. Yep, sun for the first time since the end of June. It has been raining, on saying that, on and off, but the sun is making an effort to come out. So here I am going to share with you a couple of things today. But first of all, before I go any further, there's something that I want to correct, which it was information I gave in my last video, where I looked at two RWS two RWS system decks of cards. One was the Retinoweight Smith and the other was the gold foil. And I just want to thank Marcy for reminding me that the gold foil tarot was based on the Universal Tarot by Robert De Angelis, and that the Retinoweight is based on Pixie's artwork. I didn't get that across in the last video and I do apologise, and I've got to be honest with you, it's probably because I couldn't remember the name of the Universal Tarot, and that's why I didn't give that to you. It was a sort of a comparison of the card stock, etc, etc. But Marcy, thank you so much for drawing my attention to that and for reminding me. I have actually made a note to remember that. Also, there's something else I want to actually apologise for, and what that was, I looked at two oracle decks, and that was the Zama Twins and the Oracle of Visions by Ciro Marchetti. Now, I am not a techie. I used to be very much into my tech, but since retiring it has gone so far, into the future, so to speak, that I have sort of fallen behind. And I erroneously put under the umbrella anything created by any form of computer aid as AI, which is completely and utterly wrong. Completely and utterly wrong. And I just want to thank Red Wing for informing me of this, but informing me in such a manner that was so friendly, so welcoming, and really was constructive. And Red Wing, I really want to thank you for that, because it's an absolute valid point, because AI is not, as I now understand it, was not what I meant when I was discussing Ciro's work, because I now understand AI to be a set of algorithms that amalgamate with existing art, and in doing that, it's basically stealing the work of other artists. It's purely a sort of algorithms, mathematical computer algorithms, and getting together and readjusting, slightly pinching, and stealing other people's art. And that is not acceptable, because I did mention that, well, AI, whatever, however it's made, the artist has put a lot of work into it. What I should have said was that digital artists, such as the work created by Ciro, is personally created. He has drawn it. He has then taken his drawings and put them into a specific computer program, and by drawing it, by creating it, and then by using software to put in whatever textures, designs, etc, etc, he wants, takes hours and hours of work, but it's his work, not the work of others. And my ignorance in that fact, when I was thinking, well, how, all these companies that sell knockoff decks, which is art that has been stolen from others. No, Elaine, they haven't just been photocopied onto pieces of card and cut out. It's been done by stealing work and creating decks that do not belong to them. So no way does Ciro Marchetti's work fall under the umbrella of AI. He is a digital artist, and I have to say he's phenomenal at what he does. So Red Wing, thank you so much for that heads up. I totally appreciate that, and that's what I like about this community, that we can give and accept constructive criticism. I've only ever been on the receiving end of some absolutely awful comments on a VR I did, and instead of it being constructively criticised, I was ridiculed from a height, and it didn't knock me. It made me realise that there are some very ignorant people out there who spend their time behind a keyboard, because the things that were said would never have been said to my face. because I'd have knocked that person off every solid surface if the truth be known. But I suppose that's the Gen X person that I am. Anyway, Redwing, thank you for that, and Marcy, thank you for that, and I totally appreciate it. And likewise in the future, if you spot anything I'm doing that or saying that's not correct, I would appreciate being pointed in the right direction. Thank you so much. Now, why else am I here today? First of all, I need to show you this. Oh, I just love it. I was in a bookshop. Mum and I went over to look after my mum. She was supposed to have had surgery, but unfortunately, due to staff shortages, it's been postponed until the end of September. But I found this lovely tote bag. Isn't that lovely? The tarot. And it's got a Marseille deck on the front. I'm not sure what Marseille it is. It has been mentioned on the Hermit's Cave, so I'll go back and have a look. But isn't that adorable? It's blank on that side, but look at that. Isn't that lovely? And you know, it surprisingly holds quite a lot. It carried back a number of books for me. A deck of cards and then notebooks, pens, markers. Oh, and a bar of chocolate. Now, I've two books that I wanted to show you. Actually, there's three. The third one's beside my bed because I'm actually on chapter 3 now. I'm just powering through it. It's brilliant. But I'll review that again once I've read it. Just a quick, I haven't read this. This is one book that's on my reading list, V.E.Schwab, and it's Gallant. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And I had this, found this, the Living Tarot, and I think, you know, this is, again, it's something that would be great for beginners in tarot, but it's also something that's great for seasoned readers to get back in, get stuck in, and just refresh their knowledge. I don't think you can ever stop learning as a tarot reader. It is a permanent, ongoing learning curve because, you know, readings change as times change, you know. Meanings and that have to fit in with the times in which we live, incorporating their original meaning, but using your intuition and using what fits today's society. So that's that. I arrived home yesterday to a box. Now I have opened the box and the items are here in front of me. I purchased the older version of this particular deck, and a new one has recently been released. But I ordered the older one because I have to be honest, with the new one, the postage took the deck for me here in Ireland to over €105. That was before they charged me import fees. So I said, can't do that. So I've had to settle for the first edition. Now, I'm not going to say I have to settle for second best because I don't. It's still equally as good. The only thing is it has borders, and you know I prefer no borders. However, this is going to suffice. It's a nice deck. The art is what I'm after. I'm going to give you a little clue. This arrived with it. A lovely peacock feather. Look at the colours in that, in the eye of the feather. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Oh, do you know, I could actually employ someone to sit there and just stroke the neck with the feather. Yeah, I know I'm strange. The deck is The Serpent and the Peacock Tarot. The book comes with the deck. The deck is in a tin and it's got a border. The book is straightforward. It has coloured images to support each card. Underneath the image comes a set of keywords, and then you have a general write-up about the meaning, and then the reversal. So, and it's done so clearly, and there's no airy-fairiness about it. It's straight into business. You have your title page, you have your table of contents, and basically your table of contents is suit of swords, suit of pentacles, wands, pentacles, swords, cups, and then your majors. And then we go straight into it. And I love the way it's been done, okay? The cover of the book actually feels lovely. It's like that sort of velvety sort of feel. It's just beautiful. Now, at the back here, this is all the cards. There's no other information in between. There are no spreads. That's for you to make your own spreads up and what have you, or to use spreads that you do from other places. But what I do like at the very back here, how this deck was born. And this is what I found very interesting. I'm going to share this with you. How the deck was born. Several of you have asked for the inspiration behind the Serpent and the Peacock, and here it is. At the time, I did not know tarot, I was working on an astrology project I called The Mood of the Moon, that utilised discarded images from the medieval time period as its theme. Astrology is a passion, and even more so as I approach my second Saturn return. I do accounting and taxes by trade. Apparently, when you give me too much stress, my creativity becomes heightened. Some of the images that I was working with for the mood of the moon started to resemble the cards of the tarot. While my tarot knowledge is limited, the more I thought about it, the more it made sense that these images really wanted to come together and become a deck of its own. I really feel like the deck created itself. It wanted to be born. I am super happy at least some of you appreciate it as much as I do. It is not perfect, but I feel the imperfections add to the beauty of it. The website and the guidebook are dedicated to those that want to learn tarot, learn from the cards, and let my free online guidebook be your guide at serpentandthepeacock.com. Mood of the Moon. I started thinking about Mood of the Moon when my narcissistic boss was completely out of control with his abuse towards me. I noticed that when I followed the mood of the moon, I could gauge how triggered he would be, if that makes any sense. I spent 10 years and 5 days with him, 95% sure it was over now, but now it's time to take what I've learned and share it with you. I think it really helps to know the collective vibe of the day, and that you can find that information on www.moodofthemoon.com. And that's it. That's the insight that you get. And I think it's been kept simple, it's been kept straightforward, and really genuinely from the heart. So at the back, we have a sun. We live by the sun, feel by the moon, learn from the cards by the light of the Libra moon. Isn't that lovely? And I love all the designs. It's just beautiful. Now, the deck. So let's have a look. The deck itself has a nice glitter gold edging, and okay, it comes off a tiny little bit, but that's nothing to get yourself your knickers in a knot about, you know. We're going to start, we've got, hold on, we'll go through the minors first. And here we go. We have I'm not going to go to talk through these minors, just let you see them as they are. What does that remind you of? That reminds you of the what was it called? It's in the Zama Twins Oracle, but it's someone that's lost its head talking through his stomach, through his intuition. But the other one in the Oracle deck is angry. This one looks like, well, I've stressed, you know, got rid of my anger. Now I'm sort of planting my seeds, watching them grow, taking a little break, looking out, judging what I need to do, etc., etc., rather than losing his head. This is a happier version with his hat on and carrying on his business, long-term goals, etc. And I like that in the tarot card, because we've got that in an oracle, and yet we've got it again in a tarot, and you can see, you know, that they actually do read differently depending on what the situation is, what the deck is you're using. And I do think that that would likely complement this deck, and I'm going to have a look. So this is not a review, this is a first impression, and I have to say I am rather impressed. And you know what I'm like, I don't particularly like borders, but do you know, as much as I would have liked the border free deck, I feel that this is every bit as good. It's the original, and it seems to be more in keeping with the style of the art that's been used, and the fact it's a medieval theme and medieval cards all had borders, so it seems to be fitting. So those were the pentacles. We are now going to look at, let me just grab them out here, cups. My little feather is going to be used as a bookmark to go with my book, by the way. So here we start with cups. I love that Ace of Cups. That there's a lot of them that look very biblical, and you can almost look at them and think, wow, you could put biblical stories in. Oh, here you go straight away. There's, you know, I would say Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Beautiful. I do like that Four of Cups. That person really does look like in the doldrums, don't they? Look at that for the 5. I like that. Love that, in fact. Oh, there we've got your man again. And that's in the Page of Cups. If you can hear snoring in the background, Sally's asleep on the chair and Sam's asleep on the floor. Then we have our swords. The aces are all lovely. They're all really lovely. There's a quite a powerful vibe off them, I've got to be honest. Sorry about reading about so much. My back's giving me a bit of jip today. I like that. The swords and yet the serpents at the same time. Would they be serpents or dragons, or... Have a look. And seeing the blindfold, you can almost see another face within that blindfold. Lovely. That's a great Four of Swords, isn't it? Queen looks very po-faced, doesn't she? Do you know, the King of Swords could also almost be the Hierophant as well. Now let's have a look at our final suit, excuse me, of Wands. A nice mix of the use of people and animals in this deck. And, you know, different scenes and biblical scenes, sort of weird scenes. I do think that this would gel with some of the works of I've gone blank, Patrick Valenza. I think the Zama Twins Oracle would suit this, would companion this deck quite nicely. I find that very weird. Oops, there's a knight missing there. There's my knight. Got stuck. It hasn't taken the edging off anyway. Taken the edging off there? Nope. I love that Queen of Wands. I really do love that. I think the fact she's holding a dragon as well. Listen to your head and your heart, I think. You know. Very, very deep. You could get a lot out of that. Now we're coming to our majors. Just pop these in their tin. Well, actually, I'm not going to pop them in the tin. We'll see what they like to shuffle in a sec. Our Fool. Now, I know with the newer deck you get extra cards. I think there's an extra Fool and an extra Magician and something else, I'm not sure. But somebody had put a post up asking which Fool would you take, and I chose this one. So I'm so glad that this is the Fool that's in the original deck. Okay, Sam. High Priestess there. The Empress. The Emperor, who looks very stern. The Hierophant. That is very much like, it puts me in mind of the story of Paul or Saul of Tarsus, Saul who became Paul of Tarsus, where he had his conversion on his road, on his journey on the road to Tarsus, and became a Christian. The Lovers. And with the swan there, that reminds me of, I don't know if you would have heard the story of the children of Lear, where they all turned into swans. And that's very much in keeping. Is that a swan? That's actually not a swan, is it? It's more of a stork, I think. But it does still reminds me of the children of Lear. Chariot. Strength. Sam, what you doing? What's the matter with you, Sam? You okay? Good boy. The Hermit. I find that a very strange hermit. The Wheel of Fortune. Justice. Look at the face on the Hanged Man. It's like, oh God, this situation's driving me nuts. What can I do to change it? Temperance. That's a very, very strange card. Beautifully strange in the sense you're half human, half swan. It's very, very... I'd have to sit over that card. Why the swan neck and wings on a torso, human torso? Devil. Devil's spawn, really. Look at that Tower card. How powerful is that? Now we've got a mouth here that's opened. It's being pulled open, but it reminds me of that Alien film with the Alien versus Predator, and the mouth opens sort of like that, and you know. The World. Now this is a really deep world card. It covers absolutely everything. Look at that. All the symbolism in that card. That's quite amazing. Judgment. Oh wow, look at that. It's like the pierced hand of Christ there, look. Judgment's made against him. But the blood's flowing, and the sheep drinking from the blood from the hand of Christ, and all the angels and saints lifting him up. The sun. I know some of these are out of order, aren't they? The moon. And the star. So this is the Serpent and the Peacock Tarot by Libra Moon Incorporated. I like it. I like it very much. It's got a depth to it that, or appears to have a depth to it. It'll reveal itself a little bit more once I have read with the deck. And I do think it's a deck that, like I say, I'm going to use with the likes of Deviant Moon, with the likes of, there's another deck I have here, the Europe, Medieval Europe Tarot. If you're going to combine cards, I just feel that those would all, you know, sit well together. They shuffle hand to hand quite nicely. The card stock is nice. It's your standard sort of card stock, and they're your normal standard tarot size. The older version, as I say, has a border both on the front of the card and the back. I'll show you the backs in a sec. It riffles nicely. Yep, riffles and bridges nicely. It doesn't sort of go out of shape when you riffle. Okay. There's the backs with the border, and there's the fronts. Okay. So I'm looking forward to reading with this. When I've read a few times with it, I'll come back and do a full review and tell you how I get on with it. I can't see there being any issues or any problems. I just feel it's going to read nicely. That is my gut feeling about this deck. There's a little piece of paper, I've left that in there. That's grand. So I'm glad it comes in a little tin. I'll keep it nice and safe. And it'll go here with my other decks in a tin. Only this one we're going to go there. So that's the Serpent and the Peacock Tarot. So folks, I hope you've enjoyed that. There's a couple of books here that I've shown you. There's my bag, and I want to thank you for once again spending time with me as we're looking through yet another deck. And whatever you're doing, it's bank holiday weekend here this weekend in Ireland, so it's probably going to be out down the town tonight, and we're heading on into autumn now, and we get to see some proper sun. It's now gone overcast again. You might have noticed the light has changed. So people, whatever you're doing this weekend, have a good one, stay safe, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon. Bye folks, bye bye.